Glad you're still with us. Nigerian fintech company Paystack has suspended its co-founder and chief technology officer, Ezra Olubi, following allegations of workplace-related sexual misconduct linked to resurfaced tweets. The tweets, which were posted between 2009 and 2013, contained sexually explicit remarks, including jokes involving colleagues and comments about experiencing erections during meetings. Social media users also highlighted posts in which Olubi referenced taking photos of a female co-worker's thighs, as well as disturbing comments involving minors, bestiality, and sexualized anemic character. Although Olubi's X account has since been deleted, online records indicate the posts were made before Paystack was founded. Let's turn now to organizational development expert, Professor Yomi Fawehinmi. His home zones are academics, workplace, and leadership. And we're stressing on that leadership part now. Granted that this happened before he co-founded Paystack, but it's a clear case of the internet never forgets. And I mean, what are we looking at here? He's been suspended already. Do you think there's a possibility that he will be expelled from Paystack?
Good question. It's important for us to lay the framework in the sense that while this gentleman is the co-founder of Paystack, he's also postured like an employee of the organization. So if you check the organizational, the web page of the organization, you're going to see his picture alongside that of other employees. And so therefore there's a dual relationship there, his relationship as a co-founder and also his relationship as an employee. Therefore, to that extent, his employer, in this case Paystack, has a right, a duty, an obligation to place him under suspension while these issues are being investigated. As a co-founder, that is a decision to be left to the board. And perhaps the regulatory agencies that need to determine whether this person is fit and prosper to be on the board of an organization. The tweet is sent, and as you know, in Nigerian laws, nobody is guilty except when the court declares person. So we can't say he's guilty yet. But he had made self-incriminating statements in those tweets. There are about 8 dimensions of what he has tweeted about. 5 or 6 of them borders on criminality, 2 or 3 borders on corporate governance and fitness for duty. So when you make a tweet about your interaction with a cat, that is something that negates the law in Nigeria, because we have section 2142 of the criminal code that talks about bestiality, because in Nigeria it's part of the criminal code. Your sexual relations with an animal is bestiality defined in criminal code. So that's the law. That's one law that those tweets have shown. There's also the question about dealing with minors. So when you want to check our laws, the Violence Against Persons Act, when you want to check Child Rights Act, when you want to check Nigerian Constitution, there are human rights laws, you see bundle of offenses and infraction bordering on child abuse and things like that. There are also tweets about the female gender that directly negates the expectation of the WAP Act. They also tweet about what happened in the workplace. So this tweet exposes this man to a number of criminal liability.
Okay, so you referenced criminal liability and some of the things that he posted, which are clearly against the law in Nigeria. There are calls from public commentators and, Nigerians generally on social media for the police to get involved and investigate the claims that are being made. Because at this point, these are still claims. Do you follow with the request that he should be further investigated on top of the investigation that's being undertaken by Paystack at the moment?
Thanks, great question. We need to also create the 2 categories of issues that may be at stake. So there are criminal issues and I've cited some of those laws that you could have flouted based on his self-confession. Because it was self-confession. Of course, even if we go to court, the court will say ask him to explain himself, right? The prosecutor will need to still prove he was guilty. But he had made confession that brought our criminal laws and our criminal code. He has also made statements or tweets that border on civil rights issues. Now, his employers may be bothered about those civil rights issues, and they may have a responsibility to investigate that. So, but the states, in this case, the police, in this case, the various state agencies that border on child protection, in this case, the Lagos State domestic violence agencies, also have an obligation in those laws I've cited to do an investigation, including the National Human Rights Commission of Nigeria, to say, based on what we have seen, we are going to investigate this. You may even be shocked that the Ministry of Agriculture may be concerned because an animal was involved. You may also be shocked that the Ministry of Health may want to start an investigation because he had talked about something related to HIV/AIDS in those tweets and sex. So the Ministry of Health may want to start to say they are in.
Yeah, but this will not rather be the first time that Nigeria and Nigerians are calling for investigation, or that investigation will be carried out. Because some people will say, let's lay the facts on the table. The tweets were put out before the founding of Paystack, 12, 14 years later. His company wasn't even full-fledged then. Is that going to be able to pull him down? Not just him. Will it impact the Paystack as a company and the partners because he is the co-founder?
Yeah, another very important question to ask, because of the fact that this Paystack is not just a Nigerian company. It was acquired by Stripe, which is an American company. And so that's why I said there are about 8, 9, 10 dimensions of this. Now, because Stripe is an American company, that brings an international dimension. Remember, Paystack also has presence in other African countries. So there is an international dimension of this. What we also do not know is whether this gentleman has dual citizenship or some countries. I mean, make it on now. In some states in the U.S., crimes against children have no statute of limitation. We recently had a case where a man was sentenced for an offense committed over 40 years ago because he involved a minor. So if this man has done this and he has come out to say so, then somebody could go to those countries to go and file cases against this man for what he has done. Now, Stripe, as the organization that acquired this, being an American company, now also has a civil responsibility to respond, because Stripe cannot be quiet when one of the people it has done business with. Now, the question is that did it happen when after Paystack started? Because of the fact that he's a co-founder and potentially sits on the board, this comes to question his fitness to and his capacity to take rational decision on behalf of shareholders. At this point, organizations like the Corporate Affairs Commission could be concerned whether this person is in the right frame of mind to represent the fiduciary interest of people on the board.
So the chances are, I mean, it's probably 50-50 that he may be disconnected if Paystack and Stripe are to save their reputation. But let's look at the social part of it. How important is it that Paystack comes out with the result of that investigation, and that this matter is not swept under the carpet? For leadership,
I think it's very important, and I saw the statement by Paystack. I want to commend them for doing that. I feel a part of the statement is very noble. I feel another part of the statement also is below the standard expected of an organization of that status. So they have something where they said they will not say anything till after the investigation. They said they are going to appoint an independent investigator. They hold us more than that. There should be some public engagement on who determines the selection of that independent investigator. Paystack should not choose the independent investigator. The reason being that this guy is a co-founder. So you can't say the organization you form, they are going to look for an independent investigator. You should be sure that most likely that process will not be very thorough. I expected Paystack to at this point reach out to the Nigerian Bar Association, to reach out to, and openly say that, reach out to Charter Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria to say, nominate people to form a board of three to do
we always need more time.
Paystack shouldn't be doing investigation.
We always need more time with you. I hope we can have this conversation again, perhaps if there are further developments. Thank you so much for sparing the time to talk to us.